Greetings and welcome again to another review video by me, the AFOL champ, that's adult fan of Lego champion. And this time, instead of reviewing anything even remotely that could be considered a new set, pulling out one from my childhood. This is the Boulder Cliff Canyon set. I believe, if I remember correctly, I got this for my birthday when I was in 4th grade, which means I would have been turning 10. I believe that would have been the winter of 1998. Again, that's if my memory is serving me correctly. So this is set 6748. It is, despite its size, only 256 pieces, which just shocks me. And it is, again, the Boulder Cliff Canyon set. So we'll go through, despite the fact that it's 20 years old, over 20 years old. We'll go through and look at the things that are cool and not so cool, and just like I said, do a review even though it is 20 or 25 years old. So we'll start with the minifigures. There are 6 total. We'll start with the ones wearing predominantly red here. That one all the way to the left is the female. If you look at the 2 to the middle and the right, it looks at first glance like they are the same, but the pants are different. The one on the right has the blue fringe, while the one in the middle has some red print. Otherwise, their torsos and heads are the same. One of them also does not, the one on the far right also does not have a arrow quiver on its back. If we look at the second set of minifigs, you have, again, 2 very similar looking ones here. They are absolutely identical here in blue. And then you have the medicine man. The way I played this as a child, he would have always been like the leader or chief, even though he doesn't have the full headdress, because again, he's like the one that looks different than the others. And then going along with the minifigs, we also have 2 horses that could be used by any of them. Again, in the print of a, I guess, Native American print. I feel weird saying that. That strikes me now in 2020 as seeming horribly racist. But I have to remember this is a set from the mid to late 90s. So if we look at the set itself, it is a small Native American encampment along a river here. You have a full 32 by 32 size base plate that is tan with the river printed on it. To go along with the river, you also have, the canoe there, which used to be at least a fairly common piece, and this large stump that also has a snake. There's several snakes that come with this. A snake in the hollowed out stump there, which is big enough to accommodate a minifig to stick in there. But it is called Boulder Cliff Canyon. I'll address that before it just addresses itself here in the middle of the review, because of this boulder here. Now, the set has several like play features. This is like the namesake play feature, because if someone would come along, and let's say we've got a minifig standing right here, and someone would disturb that bush or piece of greenery in front of the boulder, that would lead the boulder to fall down. So if we trip this here, the boulder falls down Indiana Jones style and just runs through the village, again causing mayhem and destruction. Also, if you look at between the 2 mountains here, this log piece is not, it just sets in there like that, so you could have a minifig trying to balance up here, or you probably could get them to balance on this top and then have it rotate and then fall. The last, I guess we could call it play feature, with this shrubbery here, underneath it there is a small, very small storage area, although it's very hard to access, and again, it's very hard to get anything in or out of there, but you could in theory store something there. But if you look at the village itself, you have a pretty interesting looking totem pole here. Mine, you can't really, thankfully you can't tell here, but my totem pole has experienced a bit of yellowing. I guess you can kind of tell there on the beak. But again, that just happens to old white pieces. I don't know if this falcon or eagle or bird on top is supposed to be like carved, like stone or wood that's been painted, or if it's actually supposed to be a live one that is up there. Not only does the set come with several snakes, there's another one right there, it also comes with several birds. But it has the same, essentially the same face on the totem pole in 4 different colors. And white on the top, blue, yellow, and then red. And then you have a campfire right there. You have a shield, printed shield, just kind of randomly sitting right there. Obviously you have the teepee. The teepee comes in 2 different prints for the series or the theme as a whole. This is one of them. The door, you can look in the door and there is a fire in there. You can also just as easily come to the side and pull it back. But again, there's nothing really to see in there. Other than that, there's really not much to it. The way they're able to make such a big set, despite only having 250 odd pieces to work with, and think about it, there's quite a few are tied up in minifigs, is these 2 mountains are predominantly the big ugly and then the small ugly or little ugly rock pieces, which is probably one of the downfalls of the set. If you look at the back, it looks pretty bad because it's not brick built. Again, here you can see that opening where you can put something in to come out the front. But really, even once the boulder is gone, I would say that mountain there looks pretty bad. There's a couple of just nonsensical things that I guess kind of bug me. Like, why do you have a ladder? Why is there a ladder just going up the side of the mountain to this random flat spot? That doesn't make sense to me. You can see daylight through that mountain there. The mountain changes color in there. Like, there's black, there's brown, there's green parts of the mountain here that aren't part of the plants. This space here, the canyon, I guess you could say, is big enough to easily fit a horse through. But other than that, I mean, that's the set. Over here, it actually goes beyond the base plate. Also, that green brick sticks out just a little too far. And that doesn't super bother me, but just seems a little odd. As a whole, I remember I loved this set as a kid. Coming back to it as an adult, it was a little more disappointing. Again, I was shocked to realize that there's not even 300 pieces in this. There's 200 or 300 pieces in just putting together a city vehicle in modern sets. So to have a full base plate with less than 260 pieces, that was kind of shocking. It wasn't the biggest Native American village. However, I think it was the second biggest, coming with 2 horses and 6 minifigs. That really lent itself well to like building up a Native American population. Other than that, I don't really know how to like grade this, because again, I didn't pay for it. I loved it as a kid. If you would have asked me as a 4th grader, what I thought of this. I would have given this an A+. I loved having a set this big. I loved getting this many minifigs. Even as a child, I've mentioned in the past, I'm a teacher, I'm a history teacher. Even as a child, I was a history nerd. That kind of showed itself early in my life. So to have Lego that was also historic and a big set, oh, I loved that. From what I've done a little bit of online research, I believe that the suggested retail price for this would have been like probably $40 or $50, which I have a hard time seeing myself paying now in modern dollars, because that's 250 pieces or 260 pieces. Your price to part ratio there is terrible. Not to mention going back to mid 90s dollars. But I didn't pay for it. It was my birthday gift. So I guess I'm gonna give it an A, and just with the caveat that I'm looking back at it with nostalgia from loving it as a kid. Again, it had awesome play features. I remember building all sorts of stuff. This might have been the first base plate I had also. And knowing that I personally didn't really have to worry about the price. Again, that probably sounds a little selfish of me now as an adult, but that's my review. Let me know what you think, or if you agree or disagree or anything like that. Again, I know this is not a huge set by modern standards, but for a kid that had one when I was a kid, this was by far the biggest set I had. I know my last review video was about one of the creator expert, the corner garage, and that was massive. That had essentially 10 times more parts than this, but I thought this thing was just huge as a kid. So it's hard for me to overstate how much I loved this as a kid. And so building it again as an adult, it was a little disappointing looking at it through grown-up eyes, but that's a little different. After all, it is a children's toy. But anyway, I will hopefully share another video here soon. And until then, feel free to like, subscribe, or comment.